The sweeping majesty of California's national parks. Can rock your world.
Oh, and look at that one over there, it's even higher.
From the spewing earth at Lassen National Park.
Well, there it is, wow.
It's as big as they get.
To the wonders of the world at Sequoia.
We're about 300 feet underground here.
Get ready for a special half-hour Rob on the Road exploring national parks in California. We'll take you high above the hills of Yosemite and bring you the magic of John Muir in his own words. California National Parks starts now.
It's Rob on the Road, discovering the stories that capture the unique spirit of Northern California.
Hi there, I'm Rob Stewart, and thanks for joining us on this special Rob on the Road edition, California National Parks. You know, California has some of the most stunning and iconic national parks in the entire country, one of which is where I am right now, Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks. It is home to the world's largest trees and some amazing cavernous caves. We'll take you on a breathtaking tour ahead. But we begin in Northern California with one of this country's most active volcanic parks. We're in Lassen Volcanic National Park, and behind me is Lassen Peak. It really is the power point of this park at about 10,500 feet high. You know, this whole place is a volcanic phenomena with 150 miles of hiking trails. Now, we're in a peaceful place right now, but today we're going on a 3-mile round-trip hike to a place that is boiling with power. And we're hiking along one of the most popular parts here at Lassen Volcanic National Park with Ranger Karen Hayner. Ranger, good to see you.
Good to meet you.
This is quite a hike and quite a sight.
What we have are remnants of an old composite volcano that stretched or spanned this whole valley area called Broke-Off Volcano or Mount Tehama. Broke-Off Volcano, Mount Dillard, and Pilot Pinnacle are three of the several half-dozen mountains that are left from the old Broke-Off volcano.
Because this whole area used to be filled with a volcano.
Yeah, we're inside an old volcano that stretched a couple thousand feet higher than the present-day Lassen Peak.
When did it blow?
That was about between 400 and 600,000 years ago.
We are headed to Bumpus Hill, which is one of the most popular spots here as well.
It is. It's our largest hydrothermal basin.
All right, well, let's go check it out. The smell and the sound is getting stronger and louder as we get closer and closer. Oh my gosh, this is it.
This is Bumpus Hill Basin.
Wow.
Where you can see active mud pots, fumaroles, steam vents, boiling pools. It's an expression of the Earth's heat and volcanic origins.
And the smell.
It's hydrogen sulfide and a mixture of other chemicals that are being brought up.
Is that what the inside of the Earth smells like?
I haven't been there yet. It smells like rotten eggs, doesn't it?
It does,
Yes.
but it's also stunningly beautiful. Let's go. We've got 16 acres of hydrothermal area here, but look at that boiling water. It's just popping out of the earth. Oh, and look at that one over there, it's even higher.
It can reach temperatures between 150 to 200 degrees.
And what is this? I mean, why in the world is this happening in here?
The water that finally reaches that hot rock where the magma is heating it.
Okay.
And it comes back up, and it just happens to be close enough to the surface that we get it here.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Yes, what you're seeing is the boiling pyrite pool. See that black scum?
Yeah.
That's iron that is leached out.
The sight definitely outweighs
It's like
the smell.
It's an earthy smell.
There you go, there you
Yeah.
go. Let's keep touring.
These vents that you see, they're not as active as maybe some of the other ones you see in there, but there's little ones, big ones, and there's hidden ones. And you never know if you were to step out here, whether or not you break through the crust. It's very fragile in some places.
And that's why it's called Bumpus Hell.
Yes, Kendall Bumpus back in the late 1880s was out here as a tour guide, and he took a wrong step and he broke through the crust and scalded his leg. That's how this place became Bumpus Hell.
And we're at Big Boiler now, which I guess is that roar we hear.
That roar is a high pressure steam vent. It's a fumarole, and it's the largest in the park. And geologists have measured that fumarole at 322 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it one of the hottest fumaroles in the world.
Oh, and look at that. Look at that yellow crystal.
That's more of the sulfur that is showing in it.
And this really is the payoff. This is the core of Bumpus Hell.
Yes, this is where the action is. It is worth the walk out here.
You know, you see people walking away and they're smiling, they're with their kids and their families, and it really is a national treasure.
That's the best part of my job, is seeing people's first awe, seeing you experience this place for the first time.
It is breathtaking.
It reminds me of how special it is. And it makes you grateful for the people that came before that had the thoughtfulness to keep them for us, and that we're given that opportunity to save it for our future generations. It is America's best idea.
And we're back now on Morrow Rock in Sequoia, the oldest national park in the state of California. Over here is the giant forest, home to the world's largest tree. But it's more than just height that's heavenly here. And we're here in the giant forest with Bill Tweed. Good to see you, Bill.
A pleasure.
You are a Sequoia expert here at Sequoia National Park, and this is just stunning everywhere you look.
You've come to one of the magic places of the national park system. You've come to probably the best place in the world to see giant sequoia trees. This is the place they're designed to be. It has the right climate, which amounts to the right mix of temperature and water, and you can see the results.
And you know what's so amazing is that it all came from this.
And in fact, this is a sequoia cone, but it didn't grow from this. It grew from one seed out of 200 that are in this little cone. The oldest sequoias by ring count have lived more than 3,000 years. We've counted up to 3,200 rings on a single tree. We don't know the complete potential. This grove covers only about 3 square miles, but in it is over 40 miles of foot trail. You can always have a place like this to yourself.
This is the oldest national park in California, second oldest in the country.
All true. This was created a whole week before Yosemite.
Just 1 week.
1 week. We kid Yosemite about that.
And part of the biggest puzzle here is the General Sherman tree.
The ultimate sequoia tree.
All right, well, let's go look at it.
Let's do it.
There it is. Wow.
It's as big as they get.
That is unbelievable. The largest tree in the world.
And it's a monument to 2 things about sequoias, that they are long-lived and they are fast-growing. And the biggest sequoias, like Sherman here, are not necessarily the oldest trees, they're simply the fastest-growing trees.
So how tall exactly is it?
This tree is about 274 feet, 25-story building plus or minus.
Okay.
Has a basal diameter of something in excess of 36 feet, gives it a circumference of 104, 105 feet around the bottom, and has within the trunk alone well over 50,000 cubic feet of wood.
And can you even begin to guess how old it is?
Our best estimate is probably 1,800 to 2,000 years, maybe 2,100 or 2,200.
And how long do you think it'll live?
It's easily got many centuries left to it.
Good.
There's nothing immediately saying that anything wrong with it. It just goes on growing.
And this is the photo op.
It is. There must be probably 500,000 pictures taken here a year, maybe 1 million.
You know, you stand next to these massive sequoias, and you can't help but feel a peace, a spiritual connection.
Somehow, for nearly everybody, giant sequoias have emotional context. Some people find peace and quiet, some find the joy of nature, some find God. There are lots of different reactions, but almost everybody has some kind of reaction.
So we've driven about an hour southwest from the General Sherman tree, hiked a half a mile down into this beautiful canyon, past gorgeous waterfalls that feed Cascade Creek, to bring you to the second most popular place at Sequoia National Park, Crystal Cave. Let's go inside. Look at that. We are inside the Crystal Cave here with Joel Despain. Joel, good to see you.
Thank you for coming today.
You are a cave expert here with the National Park Service, and this is absolutely unreal. What created this?
Caves like this are made by the movement of water underground. Groundwater is naturally just a little bit acidic, and this marble bedrock that the cave forms within is susceptible to that acid. That little bit of weak acid slowly actually dissolves the stone and carries it away and leaves these voids inside the mountains here in the park.
There are 275 caves in the parks here, some of which you have to crawl into that are completely pitch black dark. And this is one that is lit, that you can see the wonders and beauties here. There's a couple of more rooms you want to show us, so let's go check them out.
Sounds great.
All right. Boy, it's really tight and damp and cold in here, Joel.
This is actually the narrowest place along our tour route. This is a channel cut by a flowing stream that used to be up in this upper level of the cave.
Oh, wow.
But it does get bigger up ahead here. Here in the dome room, we have a very large stalagmite that back in 1918, when the cave was first found, reminded park staff of the Capitol Dome in Washington, D.C.
So the park had been founded for more than 30-some years before this cave was discovered.
Correct.
And what do we have here exactly?
These are called rimstone pools. They form in naturally flat places on the cave floor. The water pauses and pools up, and then a little bit of that rock is deposited on the margins. So the dams around the rimstone pool actually grow and form. The pool makes its own dam, and they grow bigger and deeper over time.
And it's still dripping. It's still being created.
It's actively growing and changing.
And where's the water coming from?
It's coming actually through some cracks that are up above us in the ceiling, and it started out as rainfall up on the mountainside far above us.
Well, those cracks created a majestic room behind us over here.
It's very nice ahead. We should go take a look.
Let's go. This is beautiful, the organ room.
The organ room has some of the largest cave formations inside Crystal Cave, and it also has these beautiful sparkling crystal faces. These are calcite crystals, and that it's these sparkling crystal faces that the cave was originally named for.
Oh, Crystal Cave.
Indeed.
And you say organ room because it really does look like an organ.
Resembles a pipe
A
organ.
pipe organ. Well, how deep are we?
We're about 300 feet underground here, 300 feet below the top of the ridge that's far above us.
And how much walking space is there? How long is the tour through here?
You walk about 2,200 feet along the tour route through the cave.
Well, it's all been fun, and we want to thank you, Joel Despain, for bringing us here.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming today.
Still ahead on Rob on the Road, California National Parks. What's equal parts equine, easy travel, and adventure? Find out as we head high in the sky at Yosemite. Plus, up close and personal with John Muir.
You can see the impact that the land had on Muir, and that he not only writes about it, but actually takes the time to sit down and sketch what he sees.
We'll take you inside his memoirs and journals ahead.
Another one of the most spectacular national parks in the entire U.S. is also right here in the Central Sierra Nevada, Yosemite. In fact, it was John Muir's favorite place, and today remains one of nature's most holy cathedrals. Yosemite videographer Sterling Johnson captures its beauty. As beautiful as Yosemite Valley is, there are so many parts to the park that its annual 3 million visitors really never get a chance to check out. Our colleague Jennifer Whitney had an amazing above the valley High Sierra experience.
I mean, I get to do this for a living. I mean, how could you want anything else?
For more than 30 years, Dick York's lived a life most of us would envy. He's been a park ranger all over California, but his greatest joy is leading visitors on week-long backpack trips across Yosemite's backcountry, staying overnight at 5 High Sierra camps, like this one called Vogelsang.
Stephen Mather, the first director of the Park Service, when the Park Service was just created in 1916, realized that some people came to visit Yosemite, but most of them never really experienced the wilderness because it was just out there too far. He felt that the more people experienced it, the more they'd fall in love with it, and then the more they'd protect it.
Vogelsang was built in 1924, the second of the High Sierra camps. It moved to its present location alongside Fletcher Creek in 1940. At 10,300 feet, this is the highest of the camps, a truly alpine setting above the tree line. 12 rustic tent cabins for about 40 guests.
Meet incredible people all along the way, and it's an easy way to get into the backcountry pretty far.
Many campers start out from the Tuolumne Meadows Lodge, another tent camp. It's a 7-mile hike from here to Vogelsang and about a 1,700-foot vertical ascent. Not impossible, but certainly challenging for older trekkers. That's why a lot of folks turn to these 4-legged critters for help. The Tuolumne Meadows Pack Station offers saddle trips ranging from 1 hour to 6 days. Your beast of burden? A mule.
These animals are very, very cautious. There's a lot of different terrain that they go over, and they're not going to get themselves in trouble.
Though the mules are cautious, they can still slip, stumble, or be startled, and both animal and rider can get hurt.
They're friendly animals, but they don't want you to suddenly appear without letting them know that you're in the area. Talk to them. Don't directly approach them from the back, approach them from the side. Now, if you want to slow down or stop, you have to gather the reins, pull them back towards the horn. Once the animal stops, then release the reins. Jump up.
The great thing about a saddle trip is that your guides put all your luggage on other pack mules, leaving room in your saddlebag for water, snacks, and sunblock. The scenery is stunning, but the pace is leisurely.
This is my mule, Vicky. She's sweet, sure-footed, a little slow. You might make it up there faster if you do the walking, but this way, you don't have to worry about a 40-pound pack.
On the way, you may encounter a mule train carrying supplies to and from the high camps. This is how everything is conveyed, from food to propane tanks to compost and linen supplies, a scene straight out of the Old West. Mules may not be for everyone, but whether you saddle up or hoof it yourself, this pristine part of California's high country should be experienced at least once in a lifetime.
I talked a little bit earlier about John Muir. He's been called the forefather of the national park system. And did you know that a California university happens to be the largest Muir research center in the entire world? We're taking you to Stockton to the University of Pacific to see some of the magic of Muir. Here is Sean Sutton inside a room filled with Muir works. Good to see you.
How are you? Welcome to Special Collections.
Thank you for having us here. I guess I could call you the Muir master.
Sure, I'll take that title, absolutely.
You have a cart filled with some fascinating things. So let's take this in the other room next to Muir's actual bookshelves and go through them.
Sounds great.
All
Let's
right,
go.
Let's go, Sean. You got a big stack here. Oh my gosh. Did he draw that?
He did. This is a really nice file because it contains not only his writing but also a drawing by John Muir on snow banners. So this phenomenon that Muir witnessed in the Sierra was one in which just the right combination of conditions created this visual where it looked like banners were streaming off the top of the peaks in the Sierra.
I have to read this. The crown of the Sierra, decorated with streaming snow banners, was the most sublime storm phenomenon I ever witnessed. Oh my goodness.
So what we have here is a manuscript draft of an article about a snowstorm. And we can see here that the initial draft was written in ink, but then Muir has gone back in pencil and edited some of his work on this article about Mount Shasta.
Wow. Mount Shasta is nearly 70 miles in circumference around the base. I mean, literally hands-on, out in the field.
Absolutely.
Documenting the beauty of the West.
And that's how Muir worked in a lot of ways, is he would go out into the field and keep a journal.
Oh my gosh.
So here we have landscapes in Alaska. You can see the impact that the land had on Muir, and that he not only writes about it, but actually takes the time to sit down and sketch what he sees. His artistic ability is very much underrated. Yeah, he's mostly known as a writer, and he was an outstanding nature writer, but his journals really reveal some artistic ability in terms of drawing as well.
So we'll gently close up this journal here. Imagine him just carrying that around everywhere he went. And what do we have here?
This is our earliest journal of Muir's from California. This journal is from January of 1869, and it records his experiences in the Yosemite and in the Sierra. And it also has this great signature, John Muir, Earth, Planet, Universe.
Wow.
Which eventually became his kind of famous byline, is that he saw himself not as a citizen of a city, state, or country, but of the planet, of the universe. And it really is kind of symbolic of his perspective. And this is great too, because here we have bird track marks that he saw in the sand along one of the rivers, and he's actually drawing the different tracks there.
And then this is actual botanical gatherings. What did he do, press?
He pulled some leaves off a plant and used some sort of adhesive to apply them into his journal. Muir was very much a botanist at heart, someone who understood and studied plants.
Sean, what is this?
Here we have a drawing that Muir made of himself. It's something of a self-portrait along with one of his companions. At this point in 1869, Muir is basically a nobody.
Right.
No one knows who John Muir is. But these experiences built the foundation on which his later career was constructed as someone who really became one of the premier nature writers in America, and is seen as a forefather of the environmental movement and the national park system. This is a letter from Teddy Roosevelt dated May 19th, 1903, and this is a really important letter because in it Roosevelt thanks Muir for taking him camping in the Yosemite.
It says, "My dear Mr. Muir, I trust I need not tell you, my dear sir, how happy
were the days in the Yosemite."
Yeah, because he's handwritten over
That's
the typing.
right, yeah.
Were the days in the Yosemite I owe to you, and how greatly I appreciate them. And then these works, of course, helped go on to establish the national parks. Am I correct?
That's right, absolutely. So this camping trip is seen as a really important episode in Roosevelt's commitment to this idea of federal protection for wilderness areas. For Muir, that was essential, is that wild places and nature areas had a spiritual or even religious significance for people. And his writings really focused on that aspect of being out in nature. And he communicated that through books and articles that really were widely read in the 19th century and played a really critical role in the American public coming to understand the importance of preserving these natural areas. I think Muir is a perfect example of one person who can have an unbelievable impact on the world. I mean, he's been dead almost 100 years, but interest in him and the impact of his contributions continue to today and into the future.
California's national parks are a playground for the explorer in you, so get out and take advantage of the wonders of the world right here in the Golden State. I'm Rob Stewart. We thank you for joining us as we travel and explore some of California's national parks.